class 9. Last day, I have told you some political system along with some of the regions concerned with the economic faults of the French Emperor Louis XVI. And these mistakes earlier than 1789 weakened his empire. Many historians have told those activities of him were a foolish action that was not required at the time, only for the satisfaction of his own pride and glory. He committed such mistake that cost as a empty tragedy. How? Let us come one by one. We can say at the age of 20 and 1774, he was given throne of the Bourbon dynasty of the France, and was also married with the Prussian princess Marie Antoinette. And his earlier rulers has drained the resources of France. Their financial condition was not very nice, and still to maintain his extravagancy and almost gregarious affairs of the state like large palaces, its interior decorations, facilities and means of resources, luxurious resources, they have expended a lot. Very luxurious life that was not required. So many large palaces were kept as the palaces, places of empire for various activities like secretariat, offices, Louis XVI residence, and to maintain the dignity and glory of the empire, a band of servants, staffs, officials, and helpers along with a platoon of troop was deployed at the palaces of his residence. Secondly, France was properly fighting different bar fronts. That also increased vastly the expenses on military. It caused misery for the civilian supplies. And a blunder work was 13 colonies in America or Britain got independent, and to just defend the glory of Britain, the French ruler helped them to settle at the cost of French treasury. So this activity before 1789 cost a loss. and the empire was in trouble. It got troubled financially, and to come out, read out of it, the king Louis XVI tried his hard to overcome by imposing a new tax. This was the immediate reason when people disagreed with him, and a mean of revolution and a step was caused. A series of events were there in France. We shall go topic wise, but let us see how it occurred. A start emerged a vast revolution against Louis XVI. It was 14th July, and in the morning of this 14th July, city of Paris was in a state of alarm. In a state of alarm, do you mean? It's mean everyone, either the ruler or the citizen, both of them were shabdhan, shatark. What will happen? They were betting for something happened extraordinary fight with the ruler. So there was complete social tension, and the entire situation of tension was created, and troops were deployed in the streets of the Paris. And has taken his position everywhere, on every beginning point of the streets. There was also a rumor that king has ordered and commanded his troop to open fire on citizens if they come out. On this rumor, people got excited, and some 7,000 Persians, including women also, came out and gathered in front of town hall and formed a people's militia. People's militia, Jan Sena, जनता की मिलिट्री जो फाइटिंग के लिए तैयार थे. They broke into a number of government buildings in search of arms. Many of the government building were searched by them, and they tried to collect arms to fight the monarchs. But unfortunately, government or the ruler was alert, and these arms were kept out of their reach. Finally, a group of several Persians marched toward the eastern part of the city, and stormed fortress the Bastille. It was a prison fort, means a fort where prisoners or anti-minded person from the empire, anti-minded people against ruler or say the monarch, they are kept in prison here in Bastille. So it was a symbol of the strength of the despotic rule of the Louis XVI. So it was great hatred among the people. It was neither respected nor obeyed. There was a great sense of hate for this building. Whenever its broken fragments, exploded fragments have fallen on the earth, its fragments were collected and were sold in the market. To place these pieces of stone in the drying hall of the people, so that they may keep recognizing themselves that these are the fragments which has given us a lot pain and distress. To keep them hatching, and the fund collected by selling these stones and pebbles were given to the revolutionary for their further fights. After the destruction of the Bastille, the prison fort, situation got disappointing in both the city life and the countryside life. Paris was especially turmoil. Many people were protesting against the high price of bread. Why the bread got so high priced? What was the reason behind it? After a long time of the revolution, many historians of the world has found it back that beginning of a chain of events, so many events were there, and it started from the price hike of the bread to the execution of the king Louis XVI by the Jacobin ruler Maximilien Robespierre. And that time, many of the French people who also were supporter of the French did not came for the help of the ruler, and he was publicly executed, beheaded. That created a sense of terror in the French people. Let us see the condition of France, a French society in late 18th century. In 1774, Louis XVI or the Bourbon family ascended to the throne as the 16th Louis of the France. He was 20 years old and was married to the Austrian princess Marie Antoinette. Upon his accession, the new king found an empty treasury. When he got the crown, treasury was empty. And reasons were continuous long years of war. लगातार नियमित तरीके से लंबे समय तक फ्रांस युद्धरत था, जिसने उसके फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेस को ऑलमोस्ट इरोजन कर दिया था, अपदरित कर दिया था। ऐसी विपरीत परिस्थिति में राज परिवार के द्वारा, रॉयल फैमिली के द्वारा बहुत ही मैग्निफिसेंट और एक्स्ट्रा ब्रिगेंट कोर्ट मेंटेन करते थे वर्साइल्स के बड़े बड़े पैलेसेस में, जिसका खर्च असहनीय था। Under Louis XVI, France helped the 13 American colonies to gain their independence from the common enemy Britain. 23 अमेरिकन कॉलोनी जो थी, ब्रिटिश कॉलोनी थी जो अमेरिका की थी, उसको उन्होंने इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए और सेटल करने के लिए फ्रांस की ट्रेजरी से हेल्प किया. दैट वाज ए ग्रेट फॉली फॉर यू. The king has already been taken 1 billion livre. Livre is the currency of France those days. From the market, the merchants, the traders, and the business class people section of the society at the rate of 5% per annum. Now they have charged with a doubled rate, that was the 10% per annum, which was refused by the government. This retaliated the people who had lended money and loan to the king, and they asked their principal amount, please return our cash, what we have given you. It was almost impossible to repay the principal amount, so the king has the only option to pay 10% interest rate, and for the maintenance of this, the king allowed and provided budgetary provision of the interest payment in the budget of the France. Do you understand? Interest payment those days was a vital setback for the nation or the empire. Apart from this, they have to maintain their regular expenses as the cost of maintaining an army, the court, running the government offices or universities. The emperor was bounded to force a new tax with increased rate. On this issue, there was murmuring against the decision of the monarch, because two states were bona fide group of the French. They were collecting taxes from all the clergy and collecting taxes from the common people, and the burden of taxation has to be borne by the third state only. This was exactly a downtrodden condition of the nation. My dear, the society of a state was part of a feudal system and dated back to the middle age. The term old Rome is usually used to describe the society and institutions of France before 1789. What was the ruling pattern of the rule of the empire and the system of rule of the empire by Louis ruler? You can say the Bourbon family. That age before the 1729 was called Old Rome or Classical Age of France. But after 1789, when the revolution got succeeded, new age started with new pattern of ruling system. Thank you so much. Next time. हो गया.